My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And you get a double this month because since it's the end of the month, we're back with our what we're watching for what we watched this month. Isn't that everyone loves it. We all love it. But before we get into our what we're watching for the month of November, can you believe it's the end of November already? Holy moly, it just got away from us. We do have a little update from a news story we've been following from the Noonas episode last week, and that is the Lee Seung-gi drama. It's gotten hog wild.
Yeah.
To be specific, it's his company, his company stuff.
He has done nothing wrong. In fact, he has been horrendously wronged by all of this. So it's come out that through this forensic accounting that he had to do, which initially was reported was because he was worried that his staff wasn't being paid. Turns out, no, he also wasn't being paid to the tune of almost $2 million.
And over 18 years.
Over 18 years he's been with this company. So they lied to him for almost 2 decades about his music losing them money. When in fact, his music had made them millions of dollars and they were just not paying it. There's also recordings that have become leaked of the CEO of his company saying that she was going to make it her mission to kill Lee Seung-gi before she dies. Girl.
Oh, and then also the company, it's Hook Entertainment, by the way, is the name of the company. And the CEO would make it to where if Lee Seung-gi was on set doing recording stuff and he needed a protein bar, he needed to pay for that on his own dime. We're not going to cover that.
Yeah.
But hey, staff person, go buy me this fancy designer bag with
Lee Seung-gi's money.
Wild.
Yeah. Wild. And then you also get the impression through these recordings that were leaked by some whistleblower in the company that she was abusive to his manager. It is, I'm gonna be real, it is not a good time in Korea to be an abusive CEO right now, huh? Things not going so well for these abusive entertainment CEOs, and you love to see it, really. You love to see it. The comeuppances.
What I've loved to see is the people on Twitter, all the fans and stuff, who are I was never really into Lee Seung-gi's music before, but I'm gonna be now. And they're all listening to it, streaming everything. People are just oh no.
Imagine making millions of dollars for your company through your singing, and they tell you that no one likes your singing and that you just do it as a fan service to your fans. The fucking gall.
They probably made it seem even though it's losing us money, we know you love to do it, so we will let you, as a favor, we let you, because
no other company would let you do this like we do, so you should re-sign with us.
So here's I'm just going to give an extra layer for people that may be just unaware of Lee Seung-gi's history. He did start as a singer when he was very, very young. He had a couple of songs that were incredibly popular about kind of Noona type stuff. Thing about that is, so this was a long time ago, and so since then he's of course been big in dramas and variety and stuff like that. However, the past couple of years, on one of his variety shows, Master in the House, All the Butlers, whatever you want to call it, there was a specific episode where they did a song with some Korean rock stars, and Lee Seung-gi did a cover of one of their songs, and it was not only was it very, very good, it was on YouTube and it was viral immediately.
Yeah.
And throughout that month and throughout that year, it was all over the news. It was constantly, so even just the revenue generated from recent things, he even had a comeback this past year that he was really into and stuff. So the fact that even his recent singing and his recent extreme vocal popularity, the fact that they downplayed that is obscene.
And the only reason he found out about any of this was because he was accidentally sent a text message by an employee that was never intended to go to him about his own money that he then inquired about, and the company said, "Oh, no, that's a mistake. Your music doesn't make any money." And he's like, I've trusted you for 18 years, but you just got raided by the cops. I got my staff who are like, grumbling's happening, and I think you're fucking lying to me. And turns out, for 20 years they've been lying. They've been gaslighting him for 20 years. Imagine that, for almost 20 years, 18 years. Like, it's fucking incredible. Like, the absolute gall of capitalism. Anyway.
And it blows my mind because it also proves, okay, people that have not much popularity and not much power, they're even more at risk for being taken advantage of like this, right? And so that's what I want also for everyone to take away from this is Lee Seung-gi, a person that is incredibly popular and actually has a lot of star power across the board, music side and drama side. This happened to him.
Yeah.
Much less think of everybody, which is most people well underneath him. Like not even just his staff, but also just, all the idols.
Friggin' unreal.
Actors starting out, all these people. So like, it's just everyone is a possible victim. I mean, it's awful. And I don't want it to sound like, oh, this just happens in Korea. This happens everywhere.
Worldwide. And not even just in the entertainment industry. Like, look at, like, for example, like Walgreens, though you'll be hard pressed to find a news story about it, wage theft of over $1 million across the board of their like low-level employees. Like, unreal.
It's true, right? Wage theft is the most theft that happens in workplaces. Like, it's not you stealing pens.
It's not embezzlement. It's not,
taking your money.
Yeah, it's them fucking you over. So be vigilant, friends. Be vigilant.
So that was our huge news side note.
We thought it was story. That a developing tale needed a few.
It developed like the day that we dropped the Noonas episode, and it was like, really, like so much came out. Yeah. It was like wanted to go back and like rewind and can we share this bit of information with you? So.
All right, but now we're going to actually get into why you started listening to this episode, which is what have we been watching this month? So, Sky's going to take us off on what have you been watching?
Past couple days, I started a couple of new dramas, currently airing dramas, which is against my religion, but that's still what I'm doing.
We're weak. We're weak.
Summer Strike. This has been advertised a bit, but you may have not seen it around quite as much as I would actually expect you to, given the fact that Im Shi-won is in it. Like, so Im Shi-won with long hair, let's be specific. Playing a librarian. This is important information.
That is
you need
important.
To go watch it, everybody.
This is just bait at this point, you know.
But it is adapted from a webtoon. So it has that quality to it. The main character is Kim Seo-hyun playing Leo Room, and she just having a bad go. Like she's just trying really hard at her job where she's a contract employee in Seoul. She's from the countryside originally. Things aren't going her way. Bad boyfriend troubles, things like that. I will admit the first couple of episodes feel very desperately hopeless for her. But the tone of the show itself is not a super dark show, so it's not like it goes into very, very dark places with that, despite the fact that it's very nothing is going her way, though. And it's kind of hard to watch with that, in my opinion, because like presentation at work and they kind of end up stealing it from her because they make her go get coffee, and then so they kind of blame it on her for not pushing through to do the thing, and then she tells her boyfriend, who then makes it seem like it's her fault. So it's pointed very personally at her as a person. So that's why it's kind of hard to watch, in my opinion, that aspect. It's obvious that just things aren't going right. But I won't go into all the details of that, but essentially she does end up going and at least visiting a small town. She leaves things and just goes and checks out this small town, where she winds up walking into the library, and there's this librarian, and he's very, 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 very quiet. But
and very handsome with long hair. And...
yeah. I will say she is already, you can tell she's falling in love with a small town, but they don't go into it a lot. And it's just because it's so different and not as chaotic as the environment that she's been in, where she's just struggling as just all the things that she's been through. So she's falling in love with a small town just because it's a small town, essentially. And it's not because everyone's treating her so great, because let me tell you, they're not. They're doing the small town, you're an outsider thing. And so on top of all the other personal, like, pointed struggles that she was going through, then layering on top of that people treating her kind of rude, like, right off the bat. Again, kind of a struggle to watch. Like, though, again, the tone of the show, since it's based on a webtoon and it's not a dark, it's not dark. You can tell it's ultimately going to be this hopeful, you'll probably love all these small town characters later on. Like, you can tell that's where it's going to go, right? But, and I think the thing is she's had a rough life. She's had a really rough go recently. And so Summer Strike, she's just trying to do nothing. Like, she's just trying to be, and she's trying to learn who she is and just figure it out. And so that quietness and that stillness is definitely a thing. But I think I'll end up really, really liking the show. I did like it. It's just, I was actually talking to Natalia before we started recording. I have a rough time when there's female lead is like the main character, and then if she has a rough go for like 2 solid episodes or more for various reasons, and sometimes tonally that shifts. So we were kind of comparing to other dramas. So like Where the Camilla Blooms was heartbreaking, because that female character was like very
put upon
the fact that she ran a bar, and because she was a single mom, like everyone would just give her guff because of that. Or I'm trying to think of what the other one was that we talked about. Do you remember, Natalia?
Oh my goodness. We were talking about Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, but
Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha.
She was just...
So that one was different because, like, the small town there, first of all, there were aspects of it that they kind of made like silly seeming a little bit, but also they made it so like almost cartoony, the level that she was kind of a jerk to people. So that was like a thing. I was comparing to the fact that, so I didn't end up even finishing Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, but I know a lot of people love that. The way that so far Summer Strike differs to that is this lead character, she has done nothing wrong. Like, she's just really trying to, she's really just trying to be, but the fact that she's like from Seoul and just trying to, people just aren't appreciating her presence, essentially. So, but the tone of the show keeps it watchable.
And where are you watching this show? Where is it airing?
Viki is where I'm watching it. Yeah, so that's a good one. So far, I really liked the tone of it. And like, for instance, there were, even when they'd be at the library, it'd be like, oh, there's chaotic little boys playing ball, and then she kicks the ball. Like,
yeah.
There's funny parts and whatever. So I don't want to make it seem like this is all a downer, because the tone of it was not super down. It was just what was happening to her was sad. But it was just the setup. Sometimes I have a rough time with setups for the first 2 to 4 episodes of something, because then that's not the rest of the show. The rest of the show is probably exploring who knows what, right? It's probably doing all these other things. So it's only 2 episodes are out. So that's why it was all her struggle.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully it'll get better. Like, she'll be struggling a little less, get people on her side.
Right.
So Amanda, what is a show you are watching?
I too have started a currently airing show.
Oh,
Which,
why do we do this to ourselves?
Now, in my defense, it is a short a short series. It's only 4 episodes long. So half of it, at the time we're recording, half of it's already out. By the time you're listening to us, it's all out. The whole thing is, so you can go
a
binge
little
it.
mini
So,
series.
yeah. So it's called Fan Letter Please. It stars Yoon Beck and Girls' Generation Soo Young.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I really like it. It's very cute, but not cutesy. I like for Yoon Beck, he seems to have, in the past, he was always second leads or like evil or something. Like he never got to just be.
Which he pulls off evil.
He's very
really
good.
Does.
He's very good at that. He clearly enjoys that role.
He's also just a very handsome man that you're like, why is he not playing leads romantically? But I think somebody in Korea has seen that his Instagram is dog dad. That's basically the whole vibe of his Instagram. And somebody in Korea has said, hey, I wonder if dog dad would translate into people dad. And so he's had a couple of roles now. And it does. He does people dad real well too. So in this drama, he plays a single dad of a little girl who has cancer. She basically lives at the children's hospital with her little roommates. Like she's got 3 or 4 roommates that are, they're all really tight because they spend a lot of time together in between treatments. And she is absolutely the biggest fan of Soo Young's character, who is a very, very famous actress who has a beautiful singing voice and is wonderful. And she's just, this girl
so
thinks
she's playing
perfect.
herself, is what you're saying.
She's playing herself, basically. Except for she's not, because she's somewhat unpleasant. Like she's not.
Well, we don't actually know her in real life. She
well,
might be, but
that's true. Perhaps she is unpleasant.
I'm kidding. Don't come for me, fans. Don't come for me. It's a joke.
So, and she's not evil unpleasant, but she has had some very bad fan interactions in the past, and it has given her some serious PTSD. Like she's gotten the bad fan mail and stuff, like the scary bloody things and stuff like that. So she has a real aversion to fans, and you see this like the first couple of times you see her, she's in a crowd of people who are cheering for her, who are so excited to see her, and what she sees is them screaming hate at her. Like she does not at all perceive the love that she is receiving from other people.
So she has like an anxiety disorder.
Yeah, and her mother was an actress who trained her to be an actress, and she still is a terrible person. So like you kind of understand why she's not the friendliest person.
A warm and fuzzy person to fans that approach her.
Yeah. So okay.
So now the real question is, how do they meet? Because we gotta.
So this is the thing. They went to school together. They were in high school together when she was just starting out her career. And we haven't seen a ton of the flashbacks yet, but they were like right off the bat just hit it off. They were friendly with each other and just enjoyed each other's company. And you really see that because they get reintroduced because he's working night shift when his daughter's sleeping at the hospital. He goes out and he does the designated driver thing. And he is her designated driver one night. He comes and you can see the moment where they both see each other and recognize each other, but then they pretend they don't because other people are around. And he's like, oh, Miss Han, like, I'm your driver tonight. And she's like, okay, good, bye. And like, it gets in the car. And they keep doing this thing where they're like looking at each other in the rearview mirror, and then their eyes meet, and they both start cracking up, and they start laughing. She's like, this is so weird. And he's like, it's so weird. And like, she's like, what was that Miss Han crap?
Yeah, it does sound cute.
And, and he's just, they are acting it so, so well. Like, they're very, very good at doing that thing where we were old friends who reconnect and it's just immediately easy again. And they keep joking with each other and having all this stuff. And he says to her, listen, my daughter is your biggest fan. Could you please write her a fan letter? And her brain goes, daughter, married, crap, okay. And then she has a fan anxiety thing and says, no, I can't buy. And and he's like, okay. So he starts writing his daughter answers to her fan letters as if he's her.
Okay. That's cute, though. I see where this is going.
And then so this is all like sort of the first half of the first episode. The thing that happens is there's this like dispatch dude who's out to get her. And he finds a couple of her fan letters lying on the ground where they've fallen out of a box of her fan letters. He takes a picture of it and writes a big expose on how she throws out all of her fan mail because she hates her fans.
Classic. But he's not lying, but like, it's not that she hates her fans. She's terrified of her fans.
Exactly.
She has a mental disorder.
Exactly.
My guy.
So this girl is like, that's not true because she writes me letters. And she puts a video of herself out on the internet saying, reading this fan letter. And so shenanigans. It's very, very cute, but also sad. Like it's,
yeah.
There's stuff.
So where are you watching this? Where can people watch this?
I'm watching it on Kokowa. So yeah.
Obviously you're gonna finish it since it's only 4 episodes. You're really enjoying it. It's got a nice vibe.
Yeah, it is locked to Viki Pass Plus.
Yeah, so it's like
it is that Kokowa. Situation.
So Kokowa is the real place that it's at, or if you
or the Viki Plus.
Yeah. So it's
So it's good.
Very cool.
It's cute and it's
cute
it's well
and
acted.
heartwarming.
The kids are really good too. Like all the little kids that are acting in it are great. So
I feel like the era of kids not being that great has ended.
We're beyond that now. They've upped their game.
It's been very good. Very enjoyable.
Good. I thought it's on my list, so maybe I will watch it when all of the 4 episodes are out. So I have been watching. I'm going to start with this Japanese show that I'm watching. It's on Viki. It's called Ai-chan's Secret. Ooh, it's based on a manga, and you can tell it's based on a manga. Like, you know how some Japanese shows that are based on mangas, they have the vibe. This one has the vibe. So it follows this teenager. It's a high school romance thing, and her name's Aiko, but she goes by Ai, and she has really, really short hair, and she just loves basketball. So she plays on the boys basketball team, and she has a rival on the boys basketball team. The only basketball player in school who's better than she is, Rio. Okay. And so she hates this motherfucker. She hates him. And she's like, one day I'm going to defeat you. Meanwhile, she has all brothers. And one of her brothers, and her parents are off traveling the world or something, so she lives with all of her idiot brothers. And one of her idiot brothers runs a maid cafe. And he's like, I need you to come work at my maid cafe. And she's like, look at me. I can't work at your maid cafe. I am a tomboy. Like, that's not what people are paying for at a maid cafe. Her best friend works at the maid cafe, and her best friend is very feminine. And so her best friend's like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll put you in a wig. I'll put makeup on you. It's fine. So obviously, like, in the show, the opposite is true. When she has short hair is when the actress is actually wearing the wig, and when she doesn't, that's like her real hair. But I digress. So on her first day, where she's surprisingly good at working at this maid cafe, who shows up but Rio and his basketball buddies from the basketball club. And she's like, oh shit, like I can't, like, I don't want him to see me. So she tries to hide, but then accidentally spills coffee all over him. And he sees her and immediately asks her out on a date. Because he's like, you're so beautiful, I want to ask you out on a date. So she pretends that she's a totally different person and uses her grandmother's name. And then her best friend's like, what are you doing? Like, you hate this guy. She's like, exactly. I'm going to go on a date with this guy. I'm going to make him fall in love with me. And then I'm going to whip off my wig and be like, ha, sucker. It was me the whole time. But you find out
high schoolers are so unhinged.
You find out very quickly. He already knows.
Nice.
Like, and this has been part of it. Like, this was the opportunity of a lifetime for this guy who's been trying to ask her out.
I was about to say,
since they met.
The whole
so this is all like the
time.
first episode. So then it goes, you know, they introduce like, you know, this girl who's also in love with him and her hot twin brother, like the classic capers. And so then he, you know, she's like, well, you know, I can't ever like be seen with you in public outside of my disguise, or like people will make fun of you. And he's just like, bitch, I don't care. Like, I like you in or without the wig. Anyway, it's surprisingly sweet. It's on Viki. I started watching it because it has the same male lead as Sweat and Soap, another classic. You can tell this was adapted from a manga hijinks of a show. It's very cute. It's very, very manga. Like, very manga. It does have, like, sort of a weird thing involving her brother, who's an adult, and her best friend. But, like, we've come to accept that with these Asian dramas, like these Japanese specifically, where it's just like, okay. So just like don't think about that too hard. But like it's cute. It's cute enough. It's not anything fantastic or amazing or, you know,
Which one are you talking about now? I'm trying to figure out which one you're talking about.
I-Chan's Secret.
Okay, I didn't know if you were still talking about Sweat
and
Soap.
Sweat and Soap. I was just saying because it has the same. No, Sweat and Soap. There's bizarrely enough, Sweat and Soap does not have anything objectionable relationship-wise in it.
I was trying to make sure I knew.
No, they're all adults in Sweat and Soap, and despite the fact that his character in Sweat and Soap is a bit of a freak, she's into it. So, like, it's a consensual freak. It's fine. But for I-Chan's Secret, he's just a normal dude. But, like, sometimes, you know, especially with these high school stories, you'll have, like, a weird, groomy relationship in Japanese dramas. You're just like, I'm just gonna kind of, like... look past this, unfortunately.
It's awful how pervasive it is.
It's very pervasive, and I think it's more pervasive because the age of consent in Japan is so low. Unfortunately, which I think a lot of people find that unfortunate in and out of Japan, and a lot of creeps find it very fortunate. So, but it's not like a creepy, like it's not like he's like. He's not played off as like a creepy predator sort of thing. It's played off more as like, oh, these two coworkers, you know, but which is, you know, a problem in and of itself, isn't it? But all in all, it's cute. It's silly. Like it's only 10 episodes. It's fine. It's fine. I you know, I watched it in like one evening and I was like, okay, like yeah, it was fun. I had a fun time watching it. You know, it's got the classic like, oh, everyone mistakes her for a boy, but why? Like she's clearly clearly a woman with short hair.
You mean she's a very petitely structured tomboy?
She's an attractive woman with short hair who likes a masculine hobby. Like okay, whatever.
And wears a hoodie. Yeah. Like
so that's on Viki if you want to watch it. Sky, what else have you been watching?
So I also picked up, this is on Netflix, Behind Every Star is what it's called. And I'll say right out of the gate, it's about an entertainment company managers and stuff. So that's why it's Behind Every Star. It's the people that run all these stars, so behind them. It feels very, so I've only watched a few episodes so far. It seems very Star of the Week, kind of. So it'll be like, here's what this issue is with this star, and we need to figure out, oh, they don't want to do this drama anymore, so we need to shenanigans to like work it out and stuff. So it kind of centers on just kind of the main senior managers at this place, as well as one newbie manager who seems to, you kind of assume that she's maybe the illegitimate child of one of the senior managers. So like she kind of forced her way in, even though he didn't want her working there. She's super cute. But anyway, so I will say, if you liked Shooting Star, like if an aspect of watching like entertainment company plot is something that you dig, this is the same thing. So I will say the tone is a little different. Shooting Star, because it was always the very heavy-handed enemies to friends to lovers thing, and that was like within all of the kind of shenanigans of that show. This doesn't have that through line, of course, so it's very Star of the Week stuff, and then kind of each of the senior managers going through their things. So there are aspects of it that I find a little draggy, just because I don't care quite as much of some of the plot lines. As far as why I started watching this, I am usually interested in checking these types of dramas out, because I'm just curious of like what they want, how they want to show these things. So the tone of this show, to compare it to Shooting Star, it's definitely, it doesn't really feel realistic during some parts. During the boring parts, it feels kind of realistic, because the reality is it's not like this is always a interesting job. Right. It's, helping stars do their crud. But the this is the way K-dramas do. It's very, this is a really difficult thing to figure out, and then of course it like magically works itself out somehow, like these people are rivals for like 20 years, and they're competing for the same role, and don't tell each other that they might get it and stuff like that, because that's going to be a problem. Of course, in the end, everyone's hugging. So everything's always wrapped up with such a tight little bow that it's like there's not much risk going on. Sure. So it's kind of like mindless. Like, yeah, there are points where, this is kind of stressful, but like it'll work itself out. So doesn't really matter. As far as why I picked this up, I saw on Tumblr a lot of GIF sets of, there is a love line, I think, for one of the main senior managers. So one of the main senior managers, and she's pretty much why I started watching the show. The actress is also from Hospital Playlist, and she played one of the lead's sister who is in the military, and she didn't get a ton of screen time, but she was a really interesting character, and she played, a woman in a masculine world type job very well. She was an interesting character. So what's interesting about her character in this show is also she's very short hair, suits all the time. She kind of has this like no nonsense energy to everything that she does, and she is what's the opposite of womanizer? Like she goes after the guys. Like she does not. She does not care.
She's thirsty.
She has pretty
needs.
much dripping
She's
with
an adult
charisma,
lady.
and so she'll be like at a bar with one of the other managers who's very emotional, and he's in everything. Like he's a character actor that's in everything, and he's like pouring his heart out. She's listening to him and being nice, but with her no nonsense way. They've been best friends forever. There's this guy that's like eyeing her right on the other side of him. And so she starts making eyes at this guy, despite the fact that her best friend is like pouring out his heart and soul. And then he realizes, he's like, what are you doing right now? Why do you have to be like this all the time? Can you just not for a little bit? And she's like, what? He's attractive. And of course it's obvious, like, and she's on dating apps and stuff. So like her character is kind of like, she's pretty fun to watch the shenanigans that she gets up to. So this character, she's kind of the main reason I'm watching, because she's pretty fun to watch. Not really initially. She kind of seems like a jerk type of boss, but I think there's probably more to her there. But essentially, she said no to a guy on a dating app and kind of said a lot of mean things to him, and then he walks into the office as a tax guy.
Classic.
And his little profile picture, like on the dating app, was, just like kind of nerdy glasses and stuff. But of course, he walks in and he's
hot.
He's hot in a suit, fancy glasses, whole thing. So, and then it's the entire way she starts acting is, oh no, he's hot. Yeah. Like that is, she just starts being in his grill. Like she is. Listen,
there is like the meme right now that like the sluttiest thing a man can wear is a pair of wire rimmed glasses.
So, yeah, and she keeps on going like, have we met somewhere? And he of course knows, like, immediately, that she was the jerky chick on the dating app. So that's why I'm invested, and it's totally not the main point of the show. So as far as, I would say, only check out and invest time in this show if you are interested in like
the minutia of the management of entertainment.
Yeah, like sometimes it'll be two actor rivals, or one episode it was like a much older like matriarchal type actress who always plays like mother-in-laws and stuff, and then a much younger actress, and like if they had been in a drama together before and they're being offered a new one together, and then it became like, do they really personally want to be in this drama? But they were also trying to not sabotage the other actresses' availability to be in it as well. So it became like, some of it is kind of heartwarming. None of this feels realistic whatsoever. So do not take it as like, oh, this is a great insight. Kind of like Shooting Star. Aspects of it you can take as insight, but don't take most of the like, oh, this is tied up in a cute little bow.
That's fun.
So, but yeah, Netflix, I think only 6 episodes might be out now, maybe 8 by the time this comes out. I'm not sure. I don't know what day it's dropping. About an hour an episode, if that is something you're interested in. I will say, if you're down to watch this love line, like, that really might be something that you're into. I think they're going to get a lot more screen time. So
nice.
I started a C-drama called Flipped. It's an older one. It's like 2016, I think, something like that.
Ancient. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh, from the before times.
Yeah. It stars the the glasses guy from King's Avatar, the one that's like matched up with Chatterbox. He's the male lead in this. And everything about this drama, like, it reads like it's a very, very by the book C-drama, modern rom-com. Like, it's, he's a talented guy, domineering CEO, warm heroine, workplace beauty. She's grown rebellious due to her dad's strict upbringing. Flat out abusive. The man is an alcoholic who locked her in the house. Okay, he's
trash.
Beats her. Like, no, not strict, abusive. Since her mother died, he took up drinking and became a totally different person. She runs away from home. She crosses paths with this guy who's a talented, cold, overly sensitive young man with exceptional abilities. He's an architect. He runs an architect firm. She's an artist. He hires her to do the like artist renderings of their designs, so that they can sell them better to clients and stuff. Okay. Everything in the opening credits, how they do in C-drama, like, it's Pratt falls into accidental kisses. It's cutesy painting scenario, very, very cute. Okay. First episode starts and it opens with him walking down the street with this monologue about how difficult life is for the truly talented. Life is very hard when you're so talented and have such exceptional abilities. Like, he has super sensitive hearing. And this makes life difficult. So part of the reason he's cold is that he can't be around people because it's super sensitive hearing and super sensitive sense of smell.
As a sound sensitive person, legit.
It is legit.
Maybe not the self-involved aspect seems a little.
Yeah. But then, as he's giving this monologue walking down the street, he teleports down the street.
Oh shoot!
When it says talented,
we're talking.
Capital T talented. This man has super hearing and super smell, and he can teleport. That accidental kiss in the opening, it's because he accidentally teleports into her art studio and falls against her in a kiss. Like,
okay.
I'm like,
see, now I'm way more invested and interested in this show.
So, when it is being just the rom-com, it is so by the book. So, yes, okay, I've seen this a million times before. But then all of a sudden, like, she has a stalker. This stalker is after her because, one of the things is that his little sister has a rare disease that's killing her. It's not just a rare disease. Her talent is seeing the future, and it's killing her. Every time she sees the future, it causes like brain problems to her. So in every generation, a healer is born, and the healers can help the talented who have
This is
problems.
wild.
So
this
there
took
is a
such
stalker,
a turn.
right? The stalker is after her because his brother, he's talented, his brother was talented, and his brother died because this healer wouldn't heal him. The healer wouldn't heal him because she was pregnant at the time, and it could have killed her baby if she did it. It would put her life at risk. So now he's trying to avenge his brother. Meanwhile, that's why this guy's like talent for teleportation draws him to her, is because she's probably the healer, and it's like,
does it feel like two separate shows in one? Because it sounds like that.
It very much, the first couple of episodes really reminds me, it gives me the same vibe as Blood, the K-drama Blood, where you're watching a medical office drama, and then you're also watching a show about vampires, and it's very similar, like, vibes in some ways, and you're like, what? So, like, it's good. I'm keeping watching it because it's on YouTube. It's all there. The subs are pretty decent, so it's fine. But like, whenever it's a rom-com, I can kind of tune out. So like, I have it as my kitchen drama, like, once in a while, and then the musical change, and you're like, ooh, something interesting, and you pop back in. So it's weird. Like, it's weird, and it's got all the key. Oh, and she has a handsome neighbor who runs a cafe, who helps her avoid her dad, and lets her move in, sleep on her couch, his couch kind of thing, when her dad finds her apartment and stuff. Yeah, he's there's also like a secret order of like a family of watchers who like look out for the healers and the talented.
This is wild.
Like,
it's just,
but it sounds so weird. Like, it doesn't.
It sounds to me like it would be a much better show if it would like
pick a genre
together a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like somebody wrote a really boring, typical rom-com, tried to shop it around, and everybody was like, this is a boring, typical rom-com. What sets it apart? And they were like, superheroes. They're superheroes. And they went, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And so they just sprinkle it in here and there to like make it better. I mean, but like,
I'm not against this. I mean, I would prefer that, kind of boring rom-coms actually have something like going on. Like, usually that would sometimes be cool, but you got to integrate it a bit, or else it's kind of
it's so weird. Like, it keeps feeling like, I thought the thing with the stalker was going to be a bigger deal. I'm only a third of the way through, and that's kind of been.
Oh, I gotta admit, I hate it when that happens. When something in a show feels like this is the main arc, like this is a big deal to all the characters. Like, it just seems like the main thing that's going on, and then they wrap it up like within an episode or two, like, and then it's like,
wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Why? That was interesting. I want more of that.
So yeah, it's weird, and it's.
So how far are you?
I'm 7 or 8 episodes in, and I think it's 22 or 24 episodes.
That's not bad. So, and where are you watching it? Where can the YouTube. People watch this? YouTube?
YouTube. It's all on YouTube. It's on the Kukan channel, Kukan. And they have it all nice and neat in a folder for you, so you can just pop into the folder and watch it all in order. So
this sounds like something I need to witness.
So are you going to keep watching it?
Well, I keep saying no, but I keep putting it back on. So, like,
but I mean, also, you're saying it's your kitchen drama, so you're not like investing a lot of extra time into the show.
Exactly. It's sort of on while I'm washing the dishes, while I'm making dinner, while and there's a lot of fan service in it. I mean, I'm on like episode 7, and they're together already. They're kissing, and they're kissing. And like,
which for a drama, that's spicy,
right? And like, I mean, like, grabbing her butt, she's like up on him, like
Oh my.
Okay, like, hello. And you maybe wouldn't realize it from King's Avatar, where he's playing this sort of silent, nerdy dude. Like, the guy is ripped, and he is shirtless a lot.
Of course he's
like,
ripped.
they are sharing that around shower scenes. Like, you're just like,
my goodness.
What? Okay. All right.
There's a lot of things going on in this drama.
This drama sounds like a wild time.
Yeah, it really is. It's not great, but it's not so
not
bad
terrible.
that you're like, I can't watch this, right? Like, it's not unwatchable. It's just weird, and like, there's a lot going on.
It kind of sounds like an ad-libs thing, like a Mad Libs type.
They like picked plots out of a hat, and then we're like, okay, let's see if we can make a show out of this.
But like, not integrate it, like keep it really disjointed.
What's the weirdest thing to me about it is that none of this stuff is in the opening or closing credits on it. And then B, like, this show is 2016. On my drama list, there's nothing. It's not tagged that way. It's not, like, nothing in the description. And I'm like, it's been out forever.
Are you going to submit some tags and stuff? Because
maybe I might.
You should. Like, you should. We got it. The people should know what they're about to watch.
It's wild. So
because it should not be. Oh, this is just a rom-com.
I mean, I have no idea where the name "flipped" comes from
because they're flipping the plot genre back and forth. That's why. That's where it came from. Done. Solved.
Who knows what? I mean, with all those types of characters, though, like those archetypes of characters, you could like, especially with that sister, you could do like, oh, she dies, but then since she could see the future backwards, like, you could do all types of crap with like teleporting and see the future, and
like, there's a best friend. The male lead has a best friend who's clearly in love with the sister, but the sister keeps having these dreams about some guy she's never met, who is the like watcher, neighbor, cafe owner guy. So like, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot. So
yeah, sounds like it.
Speaking of a lot going on, I've been watching this Korean sitcom called Gauss Electronics, which is based on a webtoon, and you can tell it's another one of those like, oh, this was based on a comedy webtoon. It is very funny, I will admit. Of course, like with all things, there's a lot of like what I would call sort of Korean humor that sometimes doesn't translate quite as well to a Western audience. But like once you're like used to that, you're just like, okay. So it follows the employees of the worst marketing team at an electronics company, who are always just like one half step away from disaster, just absolute from like getting fired. So the main character is just like this poor little loser who is really bad at reading the room, like really bad at reading the room, and only joined this company because his first love worked there, and then so he was going to follow and finally, you know, tell her his feelings, but she always has another boyfriend, so he's never able to, but he's always like, you know, picking up her dry cleaning and cleaning her apartment.
Oh my.
Yeah, you that vibe. And then you have his like direct superior, who is just this mean-spirited, like she's a bitch, like, but like in a fun sort of way. And then you have the other two sort of main character like couple vibes that are going on, where you have this like girl who's like one of the assistants in the office, who's very happy-go-lucky, but used to be fat and started working out a lot, so now she's like super strong. And then the son of like their biggest competitor, who's rebelling against his parents by joining like their competitors, but he's not good at anything. And oh my god, it's so like it's such a sitcom. But my personal favorite character on this show is the main dude, who's kind of a loser, needs to get a roommate, and there's this man named Aziz moves in with him, and Aziz is a capital M mood. Like anytime anything happens, like Aziz always happens to just be there witnessing it and is like, Aziz saw that. Like, and it's just like their relationship is so funny, just like the two of them being like sitting down for these heart-to-hearts, and then but like Aziz will always be doing these weird part-time jobs, so he'll be like forcing him to help him like glue eyes onto bears, or chopping garlic or whatever. It's very goofy. It is goofy to a new extreme. And then but it goes through like each of the characters that work in this office have like their own little mini arcs that are happening amongst like the greater overall arc of like the two main couples in the office. So it's like you'll find out about like the boss of marketing department 3 is like a big gamer, and so there's this thing where they buy like the opposing company's Siri, essentially like Alexa, to like work it out, and he ends up falling in love with this like AI who tells him like, you should be bold and go meet your guild mates, like, and then he shows up and they're all like 13-year-old boys, so he has to pretend to be his own dad to be like, he can't come to the family.
This sounds like it sounds so sitcom-y that like in the past it would almost have like laugh tracks,
like
and all
it
that.
feels like it should have a laugh track, but it doesn't. Like it's really fun. Like I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna be honest, I was a little worried when they introduced the Aziz character.
Rightfully so, given the
as
past.
You always are. But no, nothing. It's just like, it's like it plays it off like a bit where he's like, well, I can practice my English. And Aziz is like, what are you talking about? I don't speak English. I'm Korean. Like, I grew up in Korea. I speak Korean. And the actor who plays him is a Korean national. Like, he's half Korean, like, genetically, but like grew up in Korea. So it's just sort of like, it's just silly, and it's 12 episodes. It's on Viki. So if you just want a goofy, like just comedy of errors type situation, like there's sorry, I have to tell this like one little plot because it made me like, I literally was crying laughing, and I made my husband watch it, where the strong, like the conglomerate son is like trying to flirt with this really strong girl, and she's like, sorry, like, you're not my type. Like, I really like my ideal man is someone like Kim Jong-kook, like, like a big strong, someone like strong like me. And then it cuts to him like what you think is him doing push-ups while like glaring, but he's doing push-ups over a picture of Kim Jong-kook, and he's like, I'm gonna defeat you, Kim Jong-kook. But then it like then it pulls back and he's doing them on a wall. Like, like it's that sort of, like, it's that's the sort of vibe.
Even the editing is jokes.
Yes, and it did have Yoon Baek in it very briefly as a cameo in the first episode as the person who's supposed to take over this marketing department. He's like, no, I'll never be a loser like you people. And he's like running away. He's in it like one scene of him just calling them losers and then running away. It's very funny. I do recommend it. Is on Viki. It's all out. I think it's just on the regular like Viki thing. I'm really enjoying it. But I'm sticking around for Aziz. That man, like, every scene he's in is comedy gold. Like, his comedic timing is perfection. So yeah, Gauss Electronics, really enjoyed it.
So, we're going to do our final main round here of our dramas. So I'm going to admit that I haven't watched any other Asian dramas lately. Those were pretty much the ones that I had picked up. Plus, we only did what we're watching
like 3 weeks ago. It was really not that.
Yeah. I mean, but I have been watching another Dimension 20 series, and I spoke about that last time. But I'm watching Fantasy High, which was their very first game campaign that they did back in, I think it was 2018.
In the before times.
And they are, so I will say this. So like last time I talked all about their like app and all that stuff, which I definitely recommend. But the thing about Fantasy High, since it was their first one, you can go watch them all on YouTube for free. So
nice.
You can get it anywhere, even if if this is something you'd prefer to listen to as a podcast, you can go do that on their stuff on Spotify or whatever. So all free. There's access to Fantasy High if that's something. So Fantasy High, what it is, it's essentially so yes, you have the high fantasy world of like what you would typically think Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but they set it in like a like quintessential like 1980s type like high school town setting to where it's just high schoolers like and shenanigans thereof, but then they of course still have like battles and have to go up against baddies, but the baddies will be like, oh, the lunch lady who causes chaos for a moment, or the coach who seemed like a normal coach but now he's not, like all this stuff. So it's very, very fun. All the different characters are really, really entertaining, so I do recommend it if that's something. And a lot of access everywhere, so if you're interested at all, it's around a lot of places. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I will say, I started watching the shows from this that I watched were a lot shorter, like 10 episodes. So like Fantasy High is more like 13, 14, and it's about an hour and a half or more each little episode. So there's a lot to it. There are 2 seasons worth of Fantasy High. It is a full arc, the first season, and that's what I think is all out. I'm not sure if the second season is also out as well. I haven't gotten that far on like the free side of things since I was looking on the paid subscription service. But yeah, it was really fun. I do recommend it if people would get a kick out of that type of thing. How about you, Amanda?
I started watching Farming Academy. Again, a little bit older, but it's just fun. It's just cute. It's short, like
what country?
Sorry, it's Korean.
Mm-hmm.
It is also, I'm watching it on Kokwa, but I finished the first season and I'm on to the second season now. It's very, very cute, short little episodes, and my drama list has 4 episodes per season, but it's 8 episodes per season is the way it's broken down on Kokwa, so I don't know what the deal is there, but whatever, they're short. The first season is their first year at this farming academy. It's basically a university for agriculture, and you learn farming techniques and you learn the science behind farming and you learn all this different stuff. And the main character is a girl who grew up on a sweet potato farm, and her family cannot afford to send her to university, but because she's a farmer's kid, she can get free education at the farming agriculture university. She just has to guarantee that she will go into farming for 6 years afterwards. It's basically like doing a military thing, right? Where you you get your college for free, but you got to join the military for so many years. She's getting her college for free, but she has to farm.
Medical professionals do that too. Like a hospital will pay their way for something as long as they do a contract to be at that hospital for a while.
Yeah. So that's kind of the vibe. It's the deal she's doing. She hates it initially because this was not her dream. This was not what she wanted to do with life. She wanted to be an actress. She wanted, but she realizes she's actually very good at this, and this is in her blood, and she loves plants. Maybe she just doesn't love sweet potato farming, but she does love sweet potatoes a lot.
They're good.
And she's got a bunch of different classmates who are sons of, some of them are rich sons of like farming conglomerates who are going into this to like learn the family business. Some of them are people who, like her, couldn't afford anything else, but like the science behind it, and they want to help figure out the science to help farmers do their job better and suffer fewer losses and stuff. There's a romantic plot line with Lee, I think it's Lee Tae-won from Surprise, Lee Tae-won. He's in this, I think I've seen him in a few different things. To me, this is the best role I've seen him in. It's age appropriate. He's playing his age. He's playing a very easygoing character. He's acting opposite a lot of actors who are good. They're fine, but they're also young and not industry, like often he gets cast in these roles where he's playing older than he is, or where he's acting opposite like industry greats, and so his lack of experience kind of shows and stuff. He's just it's just a good drama for him. So if you like him but aren't always happy with, don't think he's a great actor or whatever, this is a nice drama to watch him in, because he's just a delight in it, and he suits the role very well. He has fun. It's really interesting. The first season, they've got tomato plants. It goes around, a group. They've got a group project of they have to grow tomato plants, and this group working together and stuff. And then the second season is their final year at school, and they're all going off in their own directions, and they want to go out with a bang. It's interesting. It's cute. There's lots of cute characters in it, and different characters, and like some heavy stuff too. Like in the first season, there's some heavy moments between like Lee Tae-won's character and his dad, and they touch a lot on the things that specifically Korean farmers would face. I think that are pretty universal, that a lot of farmers face the increased costs.
So I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the unique structure of like the seasons or episodes and stuff, and just because of the topic, which is very unique for like a drama, as far as, could you tell that it was sponsored or anything by like the Korean farmer or something?
It didn't have quite that vibe. There were a few things that popped up in the first season that I felt like, I wonder if this is a real, like, the first season really focuses, their tomato growing group is growing in an indoor greenhouse system. And they mention the name of that company multiple times, and I kind of wonder if it's a real company that is trying to help Koreans increase their growing seasons and stuff. But it wasn't like really obvious. They didn't show us the logo a bunch of times, or like, it wasn't Thai drama Oishi levels of stuff, right?
So it's not like at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, this is obviously paid for by the Korean farming industry.
No,
like it didn't say that.
No,
it
doesn't.
Huh.
It doesn't
it's just
have
the
that
topics
vibe.
sound like it would be something that like they would want to put out there and the public, like, because I've seen that with like, because I've seen the shorter dramas that are like you can tell they're like Korean tourism board, like to where oh, we're always on location at this place and we're like having a cafe on the beach, and that's kind of the main, let's go outside and look at the nature, come here. Tourism.
And it's not a web series, like it's an SBS series, which usually those ones tend to be more like a web series or something, right?
Yeah, it's going to be web series. So that's it's just a unique structure to the episodes and stuff. Yeah, so it's just interesting. And the topic, cool. I would have really put it like squarely on web series level content. I'm not saying production money. I'm just saying like as far as it sounds like it would be something that some farmers advisory board would really be wanting to like. Hey, can you guys talk about how crops can die? Whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's cute. It's an easy watch. Like just whipping through the episodes, no problem.
So, for my final pick, when this show came out, I was very hyped to see it, but my attention deficit then got distracted by other shiny things, because I was like, I'm gonna wait for it all to finish because this feels like one I want to watch a lot, and then I just forgot to watch it for like a year.
I will say about this show, like, I didn't want to just do one episode at a time of it because I knew.
So the show that we're talking about is, I have started watching The Devil Judge. There's a very dumb reason why I remembered about The Devil Judge and started watching it. And it's because I was on just sort of a YouTube click storm. And I happened on... So if you're unfamiliar with The Devil Judge, we'll get into this more, but there's some strong gay homoerotic undertones that are practically overtones in this show. So much so that there's a surprising number of fan edits on YouTube of the two main characters, but this one was like a music video set to a Florence and the Machine song. And they had re-edited this show to make it seem like the two male main characters on the show be fucking. And I was like, absolutely they did not. Absolutely. Like, I know I haven't seen it, but absolutely they did not. So before I went into this, I was actually discussing this concept with my husband about how a lot of male writers don't know how to write male platonic relationships.
Because dudes are often homoerotic within their friendships.
Yes, because dudes aren't expected to, like, they don't have the same sort of ease of intimacy that female relationships have because of the patriarchy. So they're stunted. Essentially, like, masculinity stunts men from having intimate relationships outside of romantic relationships, whereas femininity does not, which is why, like, we can hug our girlfriends without doing the back pat slam, you know, the one like get the no homo pat. So anyway, I went into the show thinking that this was actually the case, that this was going to be another instance of just like, you know, this platonic relationship being written kind of romantic. I don't think that's what it is. I think that Ji-sung, the main actor specifically, decided to make a different show than the script he was handed. Like, no, because like none of what they're saying or like what's happening would indicate that there's anything gay going on. But the way that he's like, why is he shirtless in this scene? Why is he striding in with his bathrobe half undone, giving fuck me eyes to Ji-young's character? There's no reason. So the basic plot of this show is set in a, I'm going to use air quotes here, future dystopian Korea, right after a big disease and economic downturn. And so there's lots of like homelessness and no upward mobility for people and joblessness and blah, blah, blah. And the country is basically being run by a right-wing oligarchy. Seems real dystopian and fictional. So basically they cook up this plan that they're going to have like a live streamed, like a televised court program that everyone, like the whole citizenry, can be the jury of. And so you can vote through like an app if you think the person is guilty or not. And so it has three judges, one of who's Ji-sung's, who's like the main judge, and then Jin-young and the actress Kim Jae-kyung as the other two judges. Okay, as like the associate judges. But you very quickly find out that Ji-sung's character, Kang Yo-han, is orchestrating an entire like revenge plot for his brother's death using this live court show and being very sneaky and underhanded and doing very ethically bad things. And Park Jin-young's character gets like Breaking Badded into this whole, you know, life of like, he's like this upstanding, like grew up in the slums, like his own parents, like, you know, lost their lives because of crime. Like, and he just wants to be a good guy. Like he just wants to do the right thing. And he believes in the justice system. But then the longer that he spends working as a judge in this justice system, he's like, oh, this is all bullshit. And Ji-sung's character's like, oh no, it's all bullshit. It's all a mirage. It's just rich people doing whatever the fuck they want, like they always do.
It sounds like the Ji-sung's character is pretty unhinged, right? Like,
oh, he's 100% unhinged. And I don't know of any other actor who could have done this as well as he's doing. Like, I literally can't think of one. But like, I feel like Ji-sung got this script and it was a pretty straight script. And then was like, no, absolutely no. And so like, and it's you know it's ironic where they're like, this is like at the beginning of every episode there's like, this is based on a fictional dystopia version of Korea, like in the near future that doesn't exist. But it's like all the problems is like, oh, we're dealing with a rich chaebol who assaults people every time he's upset and like, you know, does shitty things to poor people. And oh, there's a, you know, a corporation who, you know, polluted the wastewater and a bunch of people got cancer and died. And like, and you're like, no, these are just problems that exist in modern. And you've got like, you know, the right wingers inciting people to be violent towards, you know, foreign workers and gay people. And it's like, wait a second. This isn't a dystopia. This is just reality set in like a slightly dystopian way. Like, this is what's happening now in Korea and other places. Like, but anyway, it's excellent. It's on Viki and apparently on Netflix in some places. And apparently in WeTV on WeTV in some places.
Because I feel like I've seen it on
I'm
Netflix,
watching it on
I'm going to check for America here.
It's I don't think it's on Netflix Canada. I think I looked it up.
It is not on
I'll
US
check.
Netflix.
Yeah, so I think it might be like Netflix, like Europe or somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
That don't get
I do think it's
picky.
funny that the thing it's recommending me, the first thing it's recommending me though in place of it is Beyond Evil.
Yeah, it's recommending Beyond Evil, then Vincenzo, then Juvenile Justice. Like, it knows what it's about. Like, it's...
Well, whereas for me, it's Beyond Evil, Flower of Evil, and then Business Proposal?
You're losing us. No, mine actually makes sense. So mine goes Beyond Evil, Vincenzo, Juvenile Justice, Lawless Lawyer, Law School, Extracurricular, Black, DP, The Good Detective, and then Inspector Coup. Like, it knows.
Oh,
it's figured it out for me.
I didn't click. So it is Beyond Evil, front cover, Juvenile Justice, Move to Heaven, Lawless Lawyer, I guess. Like
it slowly loses it as it goes down. Because in the next line, it goes from Yaksha to First Blood to Love and Leashes. Like, it's slowly losing the plot as it goes on. But Netflix, you're trying. It's fine. But it also has, so I have to say, it also has Kim Min Jung in it. And if you think that Ji-sung's character is unhinged, he's got nothing on her. Like, she is the most unhinged villain I have ever seen in my life. I'm loving and it's not like, oh, it's a surprise she's a villain. Like, from the first time you see her, you're like, oh, she's bad.
Is that kind of why it's fun to watch? Just the unhinged?
It's so fun. Like, but it's like unhinged, but not in a way that is unrealistic. Mm-hmm. If you know, like, because like in the world that it exists, all of these things make sense. Like, the way these people are makes sense in the world that has been set up as a slightly more technologically advanced, with a slightly bigger difference between the ultra rich and the very poor. Like, but not so much that you're like, oh, this is a sci-fi. Like, no,
it's more like it's just exaggerated reality.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, people are like, oh, like these, you know, weird, you know, live airing these court things. It's like, they do that in the States. They have a whole TV network for it. Like, this isn't a bizarre concept. Right. Like, there are, you know, a few suspect parts to it that I'm like, I probably wouldn't have made that part of this, but it is what it is. You know, they're working, they're doing their best. But no, definitely, like, for all these people are like, oh, it should have been a BL. I'm like, no, it shouldn't have, but Ji-sung decided it was.
Well, is it possible that his character, he just decided to make bi or gay or something?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's shamelessly flirting with Park Jin-young's character all the time. Like, just all the time. And even like there were some videos like behind the scenes of them like filming the posters of it, where he's like, no, Jin-young, like, get closer, like we're lovers. Like, you know, like we're lovers. And Jin-young's like, all right, man. But like, he decided this was the subtext of his character, and just Park Jin-young and the director just went with it. They were like, yeah, that makes sense.
That's cool. Like, that's a neat thing. Because how many straight man characters do we need to see? Really?
Yeah. We've seen enough. Like, and then, the Kim and Jung her character has like real crime by vibes to her as well, dominatrix style.
Always love a good crime
like
vibe.
Like she's like controlling this like rich dude with like very clearly has some sort of humiliation fetish. Like it's a wild show. It is a wild show. I'm more than halfway through it. So I'm on like episode 12 and of 16, and I'm just like, yes, I need, like, as soon as we finish recording this, I'm gonna go keep watching it. Like, that's what's happening. So that's my evening tonight. So I cannot recommend it enough. I don't know how it's gonna end. Like, I'm on episode 12. I don't know how it's gonna end. I'm being taken for a wild ride.
I listened to, I think it was Nat from Soju Chronicles watched it all. So I've listened to her talk it all through, but I've heard her tell me the whole plot, and I still could not tell you.
It's very complex. Like, there's a lot of moving parts that are constantly happening that slowly get revealed.
But
so it's actually
like
keeps you engaged.
Yeah, fascinating to watch.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like so complicated that you're like lost, but you're like, every time they reveal something, you're like, oh shit. Like, because like, every time it's the sort of thing where every time like the rich people think they finally got one up on Ji-sung's character, suddenly it's like the meme of him just like in front of like the burning house, like like smiling at the camera, like, oh, you thought I've been in your house the whole time. Like, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. It even has a disabled character in it, and she's so mean and delightful.
Awesome.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Nice.
So yeah, and it's, making good social points that I think a lot of perhaps people who are so far up the pipeline probably, if they watched it, wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Because it's got real like, oh, are we the baddies energy to it, But anyway, really enjoying it. It's on Iki in North America, so and it's a TVing, so they're who made like Happiness and stuff, so it's got that vibe. It's really good. It's really good. Like, cannot recommend it enough. So yeah. So now, before we sign off, we're just gonna do a real quick little run through of everything else we've been watching, just in case, and give it the thumbs up, thumbs down. You know how it goes. Sky, is there any other things you've very quickly been watching?
Not aside, I already mentioned what we're watching, the other stuff that I just haven't repicked back up, but like those were the other things that I haven't watched any more episodes of them. So I'm sure I'll pick stuff back up soon, but yeah, none for me. Yeah. How about you, Amanda?
Yeah. I'm still watching Love in Your Eyes, and I still love it. I'm still watching Three Bold Siblings, still enjoying that. Still watching Between Us, still enjoying that. I did pick up just today Gap, the series, the new Thai girl love. It's cute enough. Like, it's very typically, office cold boss, story. My one little complaint is that they've set this up as a thing where they met as children, but it's an age gap romance. So like the kid was like 6 with a teenager, and you're like, and at this point, all we know is that the younger one like saw her and she was kind to her, and it was a whole thing, and she has sort of been a fan of this girl her whole life, which is cool. That's fine. As long as they do not later tell me that this like teenager has been thinking about this child for the rest,
which doesn't seem to be the case so far. I
got no problem with an age gap, but we do not need a childhood meet cute
with an age gap
when it's an age gap, when it's an 8-year age gap, right? Like, please just don't. Just don't. You could leave that part out and it would still be a fine story. She could idolize this girl without ever meeting her as a 5-year-old or whatever. Like, we just don't need that. But otherwise, it's fine. And there's like cute little side characters and stuff.
And where's that one being shown?
At YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, Yeah, exactly.
And 1 episode a week for that one?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's 10 or 12 episodes intended. So.
I feel like I'm gonna try to drag my feet on that one because I'll want to blaze through
Yeah,
it.
it not a whole lot happened. A lot of, cutesy falls and I'm gonna stand up to the boss and tell her what I think moments, and it's good. It's cute.
So I've also been watching Love in Your Eyes. It's fun. I've also been watching Between Us and Gap. Really enjoying Between Us quite a bit. Gap I thought was okay. We'll see if I keep watching it. I continue with my Tooth Your Love, the 1 episode a week, just torture that I'm going through because it's so good, and I get a mere 1 episode a week. That's cruel to me personally as a human being. I also have been watching Choco Milkshake on YouTube, which is very cute. It's just like a little web series, a strawberry show. I've also, I don't know why I am, but I'm watching the entirety of Big Dragon. It's just softcore pornography at this point. But it's fun. It's fine. Like the show is very beautiful. Like it's very well filmed and like the acting is fine. I just don't come for me, listeners who like Big Dragon. I'm not saying it's bad. I just think the plot is kind of stupid, but it's fine. I like it. I'm enjoying it. Like clearly I'm still watching it, so it can't be that bad. Well, actually, that's like, listen, that's not actually, when it's for me, that's not actually a statement because I've watched some real rough stuff. And finally, I have also been watching, I'm about halfway through the show Blind, which is incredibly good. I didn't want to talk, I would have talked about it as one of my main shows, but it's currently not really streaming anywhere in North America, so I didn't really want to, get people hyped up for a show they may have a hard time locating. But it's really good. It's like a crime, and I don't know why it's not streaming anywhere. It stars Tachyon, and the dude from 1% of something, A-Pink, Unji. Like it's got like a cast that people, and it's a crime show. People are gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sure it'll show up somewhere eventually.
Like that sounds like it has Netflix written all over it, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's like not a Netflix show, but like, and it's I think it's a TVN, so obviously it's not going to show up on Cocoa or anything. But like, I feel like Viki or like iQIYI would have picked it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's really quite good. Very dark, and pre-warning to anyone thinking about watching it: if you can't handle bad things happening to children, don't watch it.
Will not be.
Don't watch it. Bad things happen to children. But yeah, that's basically it for me. Well, I say as though that wasn't a massive amount of shows to be watching at one time, not including all of the endless YouTube that I watch on a regular basis. But yeah, that's been what we were watching this week. So thank you for listening to us. We hope you had a good time. If you want to listen to us other places on the internet, we're pretty much everywhere podcasts can be found, and all of our episodes are uploaded on our YouTube, where we also do live streams about once a week. And as always, if you want links to anything that we're talking about and the time codes, you can go to certifiednoonas.com, our website, where every single episode that we have done is there. And it's 4 years of episodes, so there's quite a backlog. If you're interested, and if you're new, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We're happy to have you. If you want to support this podcast and keep our hosting, help us with our hosting fees and such, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas to join the Certified Found family. Woo! It's our family on the web. We have a good time with our patrons over there, and we think they're the absolute best. Anyway, we hope you are having a fantastic week. And if you're American, happy belated Thanksgiving. We hope that you had some good eats and saw your family, or, you know, if you don't celebrate, we hope you had a good Thursday. So anyway, have a great time, and, you know, keep your little immunocompromised friends in your thoughts by wearing a mask and washing your hands and continuing to enjoy Asian entertainment. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.